Okay, so I know I haven't done one of these in a while, and really my reason for that is I haven't had a thing to talk about. Um, but I've had to be on CNN and the like pretty much every day because I have to keep up with what's going on in India for a presentation I'm doing. But that's besides the point. I saw two things that really stood out to me. I'd just like to give my little 2 cents about it. The first is about a University of California, Berkeley student who was reporting a riot in Egypt and was actually arrested by Egyptian police and taken to a prison in Egypt. Now, if I were this kid, I would have been freaking out. I can't even imagine getting arrested in a foreign country, mostly because I wouldn't be sure if I'd ever get out alive. He actually was able miraculously to get out, but the way he did it was unique. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the social networking site Twitter. You can send in blogs through your mobile phone. You know, it's essentially like any other blogging site, just mobile. He sent in one word to his Twitter. One. Not one paragraph, not one sentence, a word. The word happened to be arrested. It didn't give any detail of where, when, how they could reach him, if anything was going on that needed to be handled immediately. It was just one word. Within 24 hours, the student was out of the prison and was able to post on his blog the word free. I am pretty damn impressed. I mean, a social networking site posting a word released from a foreign prison? That sounds unlikely to me. But it happened, and I really like it because the internet gets so much negative media. I mean, people blame the internet for child abductions, they blame the internet for all of these hate groups, they blame the internet for, 6 kids beating on one other girl and posting it on YouTube. I mean, it gets so much negative media, and it's just insane because it's almost as if no one wants to accept the internet. But when something like this happens, where the internet is used as a tool to get out of a prison, where the student probably wouldn't have gotten out otherwise, or at least no one would have known about it for a long time, just goes to show that the internet isn't a bad thing, which is pretty darn cool in my opinion. But anyway, moving on. The second thing I saw sort of offended me. Evidently, the man who sold the Virginia Tech gunman decided he was going to pay a visit to the Hoagies. This man also sold guns to the lesser-known shooting at the Northern Illinois University. And I think it's a little strange that this guy would show his face on that campus. I mean, he sold a gun to a guy who killed other people and then himself. That would be my biggest secret if I were him. I mean, that's not necessarily something to be proud of. The university was shocked. They were insulted. Much like I am. I mean, it makes no sense for this guy to be on campus. He sold the gun to this guy. And I understand that, he had no way of knowing what this guy was going to do, and that people like to have guns, but at the same time, he was the one who sold the gun. And he came onto campus to talk about gun safety, which I have no problem with. I think it's great he's letting them know about gun safety, but I don't think anyone really knows better about gun safety right now than the Virginia Tech kids. I mean, they've gotten to experience it firsthand. I think they're pretty comfortable with gun safety. I don't think they need a spokesman, especially the guy who sold the gun that was used to kill other, Virginia Tech students. I just think it's ridiculous. It just makes me mad. Other than that, there's really nothing that caught my interest. I mean, Wesley Snipes apparently got arrested, which I found to be pretty interesting. I mean, I think it's one of the first times in a while where a big actor has gone to prison and not been able to pay their way out of it. What surprised me more about that was the offense. Usually it's driving under the influence, or, you know, in Michael Jackson's case, inappropriate behavior. But it just had to do with his taxes, and it's a little refreshing to see someone going to prison for something other than drug addiction, but at the same time, who likes paying taxes? I mean, just because he's a celebrity doesn't mean he enjoys it. Regardless, I just wanted to share those with you. Perhaps you feel differently. Maybe you feel that the guy who sold the gun should have been on Virginia Tech's campus. I personally think he had no business being there. I'd appreciate comments, video responses, anything. I'd like to know how you guys feel about this, because I think it's ridiculous. And also, I'd like to know how you guys feel about the internet finally getting some positive light, although I'm sure it won't get passed around as much as a video of, you know, a girl being teamed up on. But still, the fact that good can come out of the internet and can be exposed by the media, I think that's a good thing. So I hope to hear comments, responses, anything, and I will try to keep out for more interesting headlines, since this is a lot more interesting than talking about how boring my life is. So, get on the comments.